What's up, guys? It's your bro Richie again. Today in this video, I am going to be doing another car explanation video for you guys. Today in this video, I'm just done uploading. When I say uploading, I just done recording the video on the Chevrolet Corvette. So done with that one. So now it's time to move on to something more fun. Today in this video, I'm going from American muscle cars to some Japanese tuner sports cars. So that's gonna be a lot more fun. So today in this video, for all you JDM Japanese tuner fans out there, I am going to be talking to you guys about one fun sports car. It's the one fun sports car that I think is just literally the best. So today in this video, you're probably wondering what car I'm talking about. I'll give you a clue. It is from Japan. Today in this video, I'll be talking to you guys about the Toyota MR2. So this is a car I've always always just I was a fan of. I always loved the MR2. It was just a lot of fun, really. Like the way it looks, and how it drives, how it handles, and all that stuff. It's just cool. It's just a fun little sports car. So that's the car I'm talking about, the Toyota MR2. So before I start, make sure you all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you are alerted when I make new uploads. So again, I'll just say it one more time just so you know. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you are alerted when I make new uploads. Alright. So without any further ado, let's begin. So the Toyota MR2, here we go. The Toyota MR2 is a line of two-seater mid-engine rear-wheel drive sports cars manufactured in Japan and marketed globally by Toyota. So by Toyota from 1984 until 2007, over 3 generations. The W10 from 1984 to 1989, then the W20 from 1989 to 1999, so from 1989 to 1999, and the W30 from 1999 to 2007. It's Japan's first rear mid-engined production car. So now we got overview first, so let's do it. So the manufacturer is by Central Motors, part of the TMC or TM Corporation, or if you want the full name, Toyota Motor Corporation. So Toyota Motor Corporation, also called the Toyota MR. So Toyota MR in both France and Belgium. So it's also called the Toyota MR from both France and Belgium. Production is from 1984 to 2000. So production is from 1984. So 1984 to 2007. Model years is from 1985 to 2007. Its assembly is in at the city of Sagamihara in Kanagawa, Japan, Central Motors. Now we got body and chassis. The class is a sports car, it's the S segment. So the layout is a transverse mid-engine and it's rear-wheel drive. Conceived as a small, economical, and sporty car, the MR2 uses simple but effective design elements, including an inline-4 engine, transversely mounted in front of the rear axle, four-wheel brakes, and full independent suspension, so full independent coilover suspension, McPherson struts at the front, and Chapman struts at the rear. The name MR2 stands for either midship runabout two-seater or mid-engine rear-wheel drive two-seater. In French-speaking markets, the vehicle was renamed Toyota MR. So Toyota MR because the abbreviation MR2 sounds like the profanity merde. Or how do you say it? It's spelled M-E-R-D-E when spoken in French. Now we got the origins. So there's not much on there anyway, so let's do it. The MR2 derived from a 1976 Toyota design project with the goal of a car which would be enjoyable to drive yet still provide good fuel economy, not necessarily a sports car. Design work began in 1979 when A.K.A. Yoshida from Toyota's testing department started to evaluate alternatives for engine placement, so both engine placement and drive method, finalizing a mid-transverse engine placement Toyota called the 1981 prototype SA-X. From its original design, the car evolved into a sports car, and further prototypes were tested both in Japan and in the US. Significant testing was performed on race circuits, including Willow Springs. So Willow Springs, where former F1 driver Dan Gurney tested the car. Who's an American racing driver, race car constructor, and team owner who reached racing's highest level starting in 1958. And he won races in F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, Can-Am, and Trans Am series. He's the first of 3 drivers to have won races in sports cars: 1958, F1 1962, NASCAR 1963, and IndyCars 1967. The other 2 being Mario Andretti and Juan Pablo Montoya. St. Willow Springs is located in Rosamond, California, about 80 miles from north of Los Angeles. So significant testing was performed on racing circuits, including Willow Springs, where former F1 driver Dan Gurney tested the car. All 3 generations were in compliance with Japanese government regulations concerning exterior dimensions and so both exterior dimensions and engine displacement. The MR2 appeared around the same time as the Honda CRX and the Nissan EXA. So Nissan EXA from Japan. So yeah, Nissan EXA from Japan, the Pontiac Fiero, and Ford EXP. It's a Ford EXP from North America, and about a decade after the VW Scirocco, whatever you call it, and the Fiat X19 from Europe made their debut. Toyota debuted its SV3 concept car in October 1983 at the Toyota. So Toyota debuted its SV3 concept car in October 1983 at the Tokyo Motor Show, gathering press and audience publicity. The car was scheduled for a Japanese launch in the second quarter of 1984. Saying the second quarter of 1984 under the name MR2. So starting off with the MR2 range we got the first generation, so first gen MR2 to W10 from 1984 to 1989. So the first generation we're doing, so let's do it. First off is overview, so let's do it. Also called the Toyota MR. Production was from June 1984 to June 1984 to 1989. The designer is Saiichi Yamauchi from 1981. Now we got body and chassis. Body style, two versions you can get is a two-door coupe or coupe or a T-top, which I know this one is target top. Some cars would have like target tops, like Porsches would. Mainly the Supra from Fast and Furious, that one had a target top. That one was brilliant. And oh, speaking of that, by the way, I seen in like videos that apparently for the next Fast and Furious movie, they're bringing back the cars from the first movie, so the Supra and the Charger. So Vin Diesel recently did a post recently. Forgot what it was, Instagram or something. I can't remember. And he announced, I think, that both the Supra and the Charger from the first movie are coming back to the new movie, to the new Fast 11 movie. So that's gonna be exciting. And they're probably going back to street racing. Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. So yeah, where is it? So I'm gonna do overview. So yeah, also called the Toyota. So overview, also called Toyota MR. Production June 1984, 1989. Designer Saiichi Yamauchi from 1981. Now we got body and chassis. The body style, two versions you can get. Two versions you can get is a two-door coupe or a T-top, which is target top. Now we got powertrain. For the engines, there's 3 types, which not as much as I hoped, but to me, like decent enough because these cars are light. So yeah, powertrain, which I will get to soon. So powertrain is next. So the engine is 3 types of engines you can have is for the AW10, it has a 1.5 liter. It's a 1.5 liter 3A, so 3A-LU or 3A-LU naturally aspirated inline 4. So that's for the AW10. Now for the AW11, there's two versions of the engine you can have. The first one is a 1.6 liter 4AGE DOHC dual overhead cam or double overhead cam inline 4. So that's for the AW11. And the next one is the same AW11, same 1.6 liter engine, but this time it's a 4A-GZE or GZE inline 4, but this time that engine has a supercharger to it. So that's kind of interesting, kind of cool with a supercharger. I'm not sure how much horsepower it really produce with a supercharger, depending on the type of supercharger and the size and like the amount of boost pressure we have, like PSI, or how much it would really hold. See, this same engine for the AW11, but the one with a supercharger is the 4AGZE. And that's supercharged, so that's cool. So inline 4 AW11. Transmission options, 2 versions you can have is a 5-speed manual, that's the one I pick, and then a 4-speed automatic, which not really my kind of styling. So transmission, 5-speed manual, and a 4-speed automatic. Now we got dimensions. There we go. Wheelbase is first, so it's 2319 millimeters. wheelbase 2319 millimeters, 91.3 inches. So that's wheelbase, round dimensions. Next up is length, 3950. So 3950 millimeters, 155.5 inches. So I'll say it again, length 3950 millimeters, 155.5 inches. Yeah, length 3950 millimeters, 155.5 inches. It says length done. So now we're on width, 1666 millimeters, 65.6 inches. So that's width. Height, 1234. So height, 1234 millimeters, 48.6 inches. So that's height done. Height is done. Curb weight for these three types of MR2s. Starting off with the first one, so curb weight 1,035 kilos, which is 2,282 pounds. Which is pretty good. So this is for the naturally aspirated version. So this is for the naturally aspirated version from 1985. Next one is 1,066 kilos, which is 2,350 pounds. It's slightly heavier. This is for the 1988 version, also naturally aspirated. And the last one is 1,131. 1,131. Say 1,131 kilos, which is 2,493 pounds. It's for the 1980, also 1988 version, but this is the one with the supercharger on it. Toyota introduced the first gen MR2 in 1984. So Toyota introduced the first gen MR2 in 1984, designating it the model code W10 when fitted with the 1.5 liter 3A engine. It was known as the AW10. Likewise, the 1.6 liter 4A version is identified by the AW11 code. In Japan, the MR2 was marketed exclusively via Toyota's Toyota Auto Store and Toyota Vista Store, both rebranded in 1998 as Nets. So Nets, can't really say well, but it's spelled N-E-T-Z or N-E-T-Z. So N-E-T-Z. Toyota Store. At its intro in 1984, the MR2 won the Car of the Year, Japan. As Toyota engineered the MR2 to accommodate a 2-liter engine, its primary features included its light body, as low as 950 kilos, 2,094 pounds in Japan, and 1,066 kilos, 2,350 pounds in the US. Strong handling and low power small displacement engine. The car is often referred to as the AW11, referring to the chassis code of the most common 1.6 liter A-engined versions. The MR2 suspension and handling were designed. So the MR2 suspension and handling were designed by Toyota with the help of. So they were designed by Toyota with the help of Lotus engineer Roger Becker. Toyota's cooperation with Lotus during the prototype phase can be seen in the AW11, and it owes much to Lotus's sports cars of the 1960s and 1970s, or 60s, 70s, whatever you want to call it. Toyota's active suspension technology called TEMS, which stands for Toyota Electronic Modulated Suspension, was not installed. With 5 structural bulkheads, the MR2 was quite heavy for a two-seater of its size. Toyota employed the naturally aspirated 4AGE 1.6-liter inline-4 engine, a DOHC dual overhead cam 4-valve per cylinder motor borrowed from the E80 series Corolla. This engine was also equipped with Denso electronic port fuel injection and TVIS, which stands for Toyota Variable Induction System. Variable intake geometry, giving the engine a maximum power output of 112 horsepower in the US, 128 horsepower in the UK, 114 or 122. So either 114 or 122 horsepower. 114 or 122 horsepower in Europe, with either with or without the catalytic converter. 118 horsepower in Australia, and 128 horsepower in Japan. Japanese models were later detuned to 118 horsepower, and a 5-speed manual was standard with a 4-speed auto available as an option. Road tests delivered 0 to 60 mile-an-hour times in the mid to high 8-second range and a quarter-mile times to the mid to high 16-second range. Significantly faster than the 4-cylinder Pontiac Fiero or Fiat's X19. In the home market, the AW10 base model was offered, which used the more economical 1.5-liter 3A-U engine rated at 82 horsepower. 82 horsepower. In 1988 for the US one. So in 1986 or 1988 for the US market, Toyota introduced a supercharged engine for the MR2 based on the same block and head. The 4A-GZE or GZE was equipped with a small Roots type supercharger. So Roots type supercharger and a Denso intercooler. TVIS was eliminated. And the compression ratio was lowered to 8:1. It produced 145 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 186 newton meters. So 186 newton meters, 137 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM, and accelerated from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. Accelerated the car from 0 to 60 miles an hour in like 6.5 to 7 seconds. The supercharger was belt-driven, but actuated by an electromagnetic clutch, so it would not be driven except when needed, increasing fuel economy. Curb weight increased to as much as 1,131 kilos, which is 2,494 pounds. For supercharged models, due to the weight of the supercharger equipment and a new, stronger gearbox, a fuel selector switch was also added in some markets to allow the car to run on regular unleaded fuel if required. In addition to the new engine, the MR2 supercharged version, the SC, was also equipped with stiffer springs and received special teardrop aluminum wheels. The engine cover had 2 raised vents, only one of which was functional, that visibly visibly distinguished it from the naturally aspirated models. It was also labeled supercharger on the rear trunk and body moldings behind both doors. This model was never offered outside of the Japanese and North American markets, although some cars were privately imported to other countries. Next up is yearly changes. There are yearly changes. So Mark 1A and Mark 1A and Mark 1B are unofficial designations, but are frequently used by owners and vendors to distinguish between early production cars and later facelifted models. While there are considerable differences detailed below, the most notable being that rear suspension components are not interchangeable between the Mark 1A and Mark 1B cars. So we got the Mark 1A from June 1984, well, my 1980, so MY 1985, says the original introduction. So now we got June 1985, MY 1986. This is Japanese model changes. This is like the parts that it had. So it had a supercharged model introduced only with a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual, and so 4-speed auto and 5-speed manual. A T-bar roof option available. Even had color keyed front lip and bumpers, side straps, mud flaps, side skirts optional. Side skirts option is now available. Mud flap removed for models equipped with an aerodynamic spoiler package, as the side skirts are full length along the side. Rear sunshade with Toyota logo above rear window added. Third brake light added. Leather interior option now available. Bigger 212mm flywheel and clutch for naturally aspirated models. And rear anti-roll bar discontinued on North American models. Now we got the Mark 1B facelift from August 1986. My 1987, or MY 1987. Powertrain changes. It had a naturally aspirated 4A.G.E, which is now upgraded with a 7-rib structural design, as well as larger 42mm 1.65-inch connecting rods for like the pistons. North American 4AGE is also now rated at 115 horsepower. Intake camshaft valve cover now has the 16 valve portion in red instead of blue. This is not to be confused with a small port third gen 4AGE, where the intake camshaft cover lettering has the entire twin cam 16 valve in red. Even has EGR ports repositioned on exhaust. So EGR ports repositioned on exhaust manifold to prevent cracking. Revised manual gearbox internals. Air filter rerouted to the trunk and continues around the trunk towards the air vent on the opposite side of the engine bay. Now we got chassis changes. So slight unibody changes. Radiator titled back at an angle to force air down towards the bottom of the vehicle. Revised rear suspension, larger 258mm 10.16-inch front and 262mm 10.31-inch rear brake rotors or discs. New taillights. UK models retained old taillight design with different integrated reflector. New front lip and front bumper. Radio antenna moved to the rear right quarter panel for T-top / sunroof models. T-bar roof available in North America and Europe. Now we got interior changes. So as chassis changes done, now we got interior changes. Left-hand drive models now has parking brake on the right side. So that's the proper way, so that's good. New center console with a center armrest, glove box, lock, double-din radio, rear speakers added to the upper C-pillar, door panels, 3-spoke steering wheel, gauge cluster. So door panels, 3-spoke steering wheel, gauge cluster markings. Seat changed to single color velour and perforations added for leather seats. I got 1987 or my 1988 supercharged model available in North America. Color coded side mirrors and new engine light for supercharged models. Full length side skirts now standard on all models. Heater water pipes changed from a zinc plated steel to brass. Now we got 1988 or my 1989. So this has T-bar glass panels changed from smoked or clear to mirrored. Opaque, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's spelled O-P-A-Q-U-E. Even had color code door handles and side mirrors for all models. Incandescent third brake light or brake lamp. So third brake light replaced by LED strip integrated into the rear wing. More aerodynamic wing mirrors introduced with optional power retract mechanism. And North American supercharged models equipped with rear anti-roll bar. The changes in my 1986 and my 1987 occurred in parts. Instead of a drastic change in my 1987 models for the above Mark 1B upgrades, some Mark 1A parts continued on in early my 1987 cars, while some Mark 1B parts came on my 1986 cars as options. An example is that some of my 1987 cars still retained the old flat front bumper despite having Mark 1B upgrades everywhere else on the car. Some early my 1987 seven rib engines came with the earlier blue top valve cover. This was also noticed in the rear sway bar removal for the my 1986. Some my 1986 cars have a rear sway bar, while the mounting tabs on the strut housing were either there for both sides, only one side, or none at all, depending on when Toyota ran out of the older rear struts. So rear struts with mounting tabs as production used up the parts. Now we got reception. American car magazines, Road and Track and Car and Driver both chose the MR2 on their 10 best car lists. The Australian Wheels magazine chose the 1988 MR2 as its favorite sports car. The MR2 was Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year for 1985. The MR2 was also on the Car and Drivers magazine's 10 best list for 1986 and 1987. In 2004, Sports Car International ranked the MR2 number 8 on the list of top sports cars of the 1980s. In both 1988 and 1989, Toyota produced 2 final production runs of fully optioned Super Edition MR2s based upon the supercharged Japanese market model and only. Based upon the supercharged Japanese market model and only sold in Japan, the 1988 Super Edition was a run of 300 units, had white/gold two-tone paint, bronze glass, unique half leather and half cloth seats, also with a Momo commissioned steering wheel, and gear knob. The 1989 model run of 270 units featured a special midnight blue paint, the Momo commissioned steering wheel, and gear knob, Recaro Milano seats with matching door panels. The 1989 model also benefited from some of the last G Limited model options, such as the LED rear spoiler brake light, and more aerodynamic wing mirrors. Both Super Edition models had unique decals on the rear visor and side stripes. Now we're on Motorsport for W10. This is Toyota 222D rally car. While Toyota's front engine rear drive Celica rally cars proved dominance in the African Group B rallies of the 1980s, they were at a disadvantage on the twistier European stages. Thus, Toyota Team Europe started a rally project in 1985, codenamed 222D, based on the MR2, for competition in Group S and potentially Group B. Though somewhat similar on the outside, it's clear that the prototype had very little in common with the production car. Although the two appear to share the same factory AW11 floor pan, little else is known about the project as it never competed. With Group B cancelled in 1986, the proposed Group S regulations suffered the same fate, and the remaining prototypes were reduced to both museum pieces and private collections. Supposedly, 11 prototypes were made, of which 8 were destroyed during testing, leaving only 3 known examples, 2 in black, one stored at a Toyota Gazoo's facility in Cologne, spelled Cologne, and one sold to a private collector in 2017, one in white with a 15mm lengthened wheelbase and a more production styled body, located in Tokyo. Although the 222D was still a prototype, it made it very far into developments before Group B was cancelled. Of the rumored 11 built, 8 were destroyed in testing, indicating Toyota was considering bringing the 222D to competition. However, the short wheelbase proved to be a challenge during testing, as the 222D also suffered from enormous turbo lag, as did most of the competitive Group B cars. But paired with the extremely short wheelbase, made driving at speed almost impossible, Toyota Team Europe, owner Ove, can't really pronounce it, his first name is spelled O.V.E. Anderson describes, you never knew what it was, so you never knew what it was going to do. With such a short wheelbase and small power in such a light car, it could swap ends at any time and without any warning. During a surprise appearance at the 2006 Goodwood Festival of Speed, Toyota drove and displayed a black 222D. The race-ready car weighed around 750 kilos. It's pretty good. 1,650, so 1,650 pounds. And it's transverse mounted 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, what appears to be a 503E, so 503E, also known as the Toyota S race engine, though other prototypes may have used the 4T-GTE engine, was reported to produce as much as 750 horsepower. That's right, 750 horsepower. For a car this light, that's incredible. It's pretty good. It's not bad. That's awesome. Okay, so for my that'll be it. So for my next MR2, well, Toyota MR2 video, it will be about the second generation MR2, the W20. So W20 from 1989 to 1999. So this is the one I'm gonna be doing next. So that'll be it. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you are alerted when I make new uploads. Alright, so that'll be it. I'll see you guys soon in the next video. But until then, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon in the next video. Take care, folks. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys soon in the next video. Take care, folks. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.